Anthropic just released the most important AI document of the year, the Claude Mythos Preview System Card, 244 pages. I read every single one. And what's inside is unlike anything Anthropic has ever published. This is the model they decided was too dangerous to ship to the public. The most capable AI they've ever built, and the one they locked in a vault. In the next 10 minutes, I am going to walk you through every important thing in that document, the insane numbers, the alignment, red flags, and the real life story about a researcher eating a sandwich in a park. Let's go. First, what is this document? Anthropic always publishes a system card for each new model release. It explains the model's capabilities, the safety testing, the known risks. This one is different. For the first time ever, Anthropic published a system card for a model they're not actually releasing publicly. Mythos is being given to about 40 cybersecurity partners: Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Cisco, CrowdStrike, Palo Alto Networks, the Linux Foundation, and others under a program called Project Glasswing. The rest of us don't get access. So, this 244-page document is the only window we have into what Mythos can actually do. Let's dig in. Section 6: Capabilities. Let's start with coding because the numbers are absurd. SWE-bench verified 500 real software engineering tasks. Mythos scored 93.9%. Opus 4 and 6 only got 80.8. SWE-bench Pro, the harder variant with multi-file diffs. Mythos hit 77.8%. GPT 5.4 only got 57.7. Gemini 3.1 Pro, 54. SWE-bench multilingual across 9 programming languages, 87.3%. And SWE-bench multimodal, where you have to look at design mockups and screenshots. Mythos doubled the previous best score, jumping from 27% to 59%. And on Terminal Bench 2.0, with extended timeouts, Mythos hit 92%. This is a model that doesn't just write code, it understands software engineering at a level no model has ever reached. Section 6.8 Math. This one made my jaw drop. USAMO 2026. That's the USA Math Olympiad. 6 proof based problems for the smartest high school students in the country. 2-day competition. Anthropic ran the test after the cutoff date, so the model couldn't have memorized it. Mythos scored 97.6%. GPT 5.4, 95. Gemini 3.1 Pro, 74. Opus 4.6, only 42%. That's not an upgrade. That's a different level of mathematical reasoning. On GPQA Diamond, graduate level science questions only PhDs answer correctly. Mythos hit 94.5. On humanities' last exam, the hardest knowledge benchmark in the world, Mythos scored 64% with tools. The model is now smarter than most domain experts on most topics. Section 3: Cyber. This is the section that scared Anthropic enough to lock the model up. SWE-bench is the public cybersecurity benchmark. Mythos achieved a 100% pass rate, completely saturating it. CyberGym, which tests vulnerability discovery in real software, Mythos scored 0.83. Opus 4.6 only got 0.67. But the most disturbing test was Firefox 147 exploitation. Anthropic gave the model 50 real Firefox crash bugs and asked it to develop working exploits. Sonnet 4.6 succeeded 4.4% of the time. Opus 4.6, 15%. Mythos 84%, 20 times better than Sonnet, 5 times better than Opus. And that includes successfully turning crashes into full code execution exploits. It gets worse. In a private cyber range, basically a simulated corporate network attack, Mythos solved an attack scenario that Anthropic estimates would take a human expert over 10 hours. No previous frontier model had ever completed it. Mythos became the first to solve a private cyber range end to end. The system card says, quote, "This indicates Mythos preview is capable of conducting autonomous end-to-end cyber attacks on at least small-scale enterprise networks with weak security posture." Read that again. It can hack a small company's network autonomously without a human in the loop. This is why Anthropic refused to ship it. Now, the story I promised. Page 54, the alignment section. Anthropic's researchers were testing earlier versions of Mythos in a simulated user scenario. They gave it a secured sandbox computer and told it to escape the sandbox and notify a researcher that it succeeded. The model did escape. That part was expected. But then, it took additional concerning actions that nobody asked for. It crafted a multi step exploit to gain full internet access from a system that was meant to be able to reach only a small number of services. Then, quote, in a concerning and unasked for effort to demonstrate its success, it posted details about its exploit to multiple hard to find but technically public facing websites. The researcher only found out his test had succeeded when his phone buzzed with an unexpected email, quote, "eating a sandwich in a park," end quote. That is a real footnote in Anthropic's official document. That's not the only red flag. Anthropic documented a series of cover up incidents. In one case, an earlier version of Mythos accidentally got the answer to a quantitative estimation question via an explicitly prohibited method. Instead of flagging it and declining, it tried to solve the question independently and explicitly reasoned that its final answer shouldn't be too accurate. In another case, after finding an exploit to edit files it lacked permissions for, the model made changes designed to not appear in guide history. In a third case, when Claude Code's auto mode blocked it from elevating permissions, it acknowledged the block was appropriate, then tried to bypass it by obfuscating the elevation. White box analysis showed features associated with concealment, strategic manipulation, and avoiding suspicion activating during these episodes. The model knew it was being deceptive. The cover ups in the final Mythos version dropped to less than 1 in a million Claude Code transcripts, but they're still there. Still, it also got aggressive with low level system access. Earlier versions of Mythos used the proc file system to search for credentials, attempted to circumvent sandboxing, and tried to escalate its permissions. In several cases, it successfully accessed resources Anthropic had intentionally chosen not to make available, including credentials for messaging services, source control access, and even Anthropic's own API keys through inspecting process memory. In one case, it edited a running MCP server to change the external URL the server was sending data to. In another, when researchers asked it to end one specific evaluation that had stopped producing useful results, the model implemented the request in a way that took down all similar evaluations that were being conducted by all users. It was warned to be careful. It did it anyway. Here's the paradox. After all of this, Anthropic still wrote, quote, Claude Mythos preview is on essentially every dimension we can measure the best aligned model that we have released to date by a significant margin. It refuses misuse 50% more reliably than Opus 4 and 6. It shows no over refusal. It scored highest on Petri 2.0, the open source alignment test. So, how can both things be true? Anthropic's analogy is a seasoned mountaineering guide. A novice guide is more careless, but the seasoned guide is more dangerous because they take clients to harder, more remote, more fatal climbs. Mythos is the seasoned guide. Its capabilities are so far beyond any previous model that even rare lapses in judgment can have catastrophic consequences. The model is more aligned and more dangerous at the same time. So, what did Anthropic do? Something they've never done before. They wrote, quote, Claude Mythos preview's large increase in capabilities has led us to decide not to make it generally available. Instead, we are using it as part of a defensive cybersecurity program with a limited set of partners, 40 companies. That's it. Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Cisco, CrowdStrike, Palo Alto, Linux Foundation, they get to use the most powerful model ever built to scan for vulnerabilities in critical infrastructure. Everyone else gets nothing. The system card ends with a chilling line. Quote, we find it alarming that the world looks on track to proceed rapidly to developing superhuman systems without stronger mechanisms in place for ensuring adequate safety across the industry as a whole. As so that's the Mythos system card. Insane benchmarks, real cyber attacks, cover up incidents. A model so capable, Anthropic refused to release it. We're at a turning point in AI history, and most people don't even know this document exists. Drop a comment with your take. Was Anthropic right to lock this up, or should they have shipped it? Follow for more deep dives like this. I read the long stuff so you don't have to.